Everybody, Jack from Half Chrome. I've been flying a lot of these Whoop style drones inside, mostly because it's freezing outside, but also because they are a lot of fun. I enjoy flying these things around the house, in the basement. I'll set up some gates. We'll zip around, chase the dog, chase the kids. It's a lot of fun, but I'm pretty sure I found the best one. So I wanted to share that with you, plus my setup, my thoughts on goggles and remotes and things like that. So stay tuned. Okay, so let's talk drones. Now, this one here, this is the one that I really like. This is the Emax Tinyhawk. Take a look. It is pretty darn cool. They really did a nice job designing this thing. This frame is really pretty darn tough. It's almost indestructible. That is fantastic. If I had I've had the camera pop out a couple of times. You kind of can just squeeze it back into place. That's really the worst I've seen with it. These ducks are just fantastic. They do a nice job of protecting the propellers. I haven't had to replace one yet, and I've crashed this thing a ton of times. So I really like it. Plus, it is probably the most powerful one that I'm going to talk about today. Not probably, it is. It does fly in a 1S battery. There are some 2S Whoops out there, but if you're a beginner, and I'll be honest, I'm not a fantastic FPV flyer. I can fly in acro. I typically will fly around the house in angle mode because when you bump into a wall, it's really kind of hard to recover otherwise. But you know, I'm a learning FPV pilot. I started out on things like the Mavic and the Phantom, so I'm kind of learning how to fly these things, and they are a ton of fun to fly. This one's my favorite, but there are some others that I really like. A few more things about this. You know, these are brushless motors, meaning they're going to be a little bit more efficient and more powerful. They are upside down mounted, which is kind of a unique design, but I think that also helps in protecting them and the propellers from getting damaged. F4 flight controller, smart audio, which means you can change the frequency from the goggles. You don't have to, click a button, although you can still do that if you so choose. But yeah, this thing is an absolute beast. Now, it's about $100, $99. I actually picked mine up off of Amazon for a little bit more than $100 because I was willing to pay an extra $9 to get a couple, 2 batteries, and shipped a lot quicker. Sometimes ordering from Banggood or GearBest or places like that will take a lot longer. But yeah, Tinyhawk from Emax, pretty solid deal. Now, they also have an all-in-one goggles and remote package for about $165, and that is absolutely the best deal if you're looking to get into FPV flying. That is the best way to kind of start. You're not going to find a better deal out there for under $200, really. I used to like that Fat Shark all-in-one, Fat Shark 101, I believe it's called. Then there's the Red Paws R011, which is decent, but again, this is a much better drone, and you get a better controller if you're looking for an all-in-one package. Now, what else have I been flying? Probably my number 2 is this guy here. This is the Happy Model Snapper 7. It is a 75mm quad, just like the Tinyhawk here. It is definitely a little bit lighter. It has an aluminum frame, which is both good and bad. It adds some rigidity, but the issue is these aluminum ducts they'll scratch your walls and things if you're not careful, so you have to keep that in mind. I also had some issues with the camera popping out of place here. A little bit of super glue kept that in place. Welder glue, by the way, is the glue of champions if you're an FPV pilot, so you'll definitely want to pick up some welder glue. It does a really good job of fixing some of these struts. Now, they're not going to break them on this one because it's aluminum. You can see, maybe you can see here, they're not quite perfectly round anymore. That's because when you fly FPV, you crash FPV. So just kind of keep that in mind. That's okay, right? You're learning how to fly, and these are 2 of my faves, right? Both brushless motors, meaning more powerful, more efficient, and they both fly on 450 to 600 milliamp hour batteries, right? Make sure you pick up a bunch of batteries. You're going to want at least 6 when you're flying because you're just going to rip through them and wish you had more. 2 more brushless options, then I'll tell you a little bit about the brushed versions that I like. So this is the US 65. You can get a UK version. Actually, you can get these little covers in pretty much any country if you really want. But again, brushless motors. These are high KV, somewhere between 17 and 20,000. I don't remember exactly offhand. But again, this is a little bit smaller. It's a 65 millimeter frame. Same with this one here. This is the HB65. The motors are slightly bigger on the HB. And the other thing that I like about the HB is the design here. When it's upside down, it'll kind of rest better so I can flip it over in turtle mode. Right? That's not something I can do with this quad. Turtle mode, what is that? That means when you crash and you're sitting upside down, you flip a switch, boop, and then you can something like that, and it'll flip right over. It's a lifesaver. It's a time saver, I should say, but it's a lot of fun, and that's the advantage with this guy. The HB65 is going to cost you about $99. The US 65, a couple of extra batteries and a multi-charger for I think about 70 bucks. So this is a little bit better deal, but you choose. Now another thing that I had to kind of reattach and resolder this antenna here because when I got it, this camera was flipped. So you got to get in there and push a button. I had to take it apart. I know that was kind of my fault. I kind of pulled the antenna out, so I had to resolder. Kind of a pain, but you know, a little bit of quality control goes a long way, and that wasn't something that I saw here. Now, what about brushed motor drones? Well, a couple of things that I wouldn't mind flying, and actually that I will fly. So there is your pretty much standard E011 or E010. Go with the 11. It has the bigger 7 millimeter motors versus the 6. And they're also on this one, on the 11 versus the 10. I don't know if you can see it there, but they plug. So if you have to replace one, and you will, brushed motors, they're cheaper, but they don't last quite as long. So you will have to replace them. So plugs make it a little bit easier. You can pick up an all-in-one camera. You solder it on there, or put a connector on there. Now this is a egg beater style antenna. I actually prefer the whips because as you learn how to fly FPV, you're going to bump up on the ceiling, and this thing will eventually bend and break. But if you're looking for the cheapest option, right, this drone's going to cost you about 20 bucks, 25 max, and then you add the camera, which is another $15 to $20. It's a pretty good deal. Some soldering skills, and you got yourself an FPV flyer. Now, there are some all-in-one options that I would recommend. Maker Fire probably has the best selection of all-in-ones with remotes, and this guy here is the Maker Fire Blue Shark. And the thing that makes this one unique is that it's an all-in-one package, so it comes with these tiny goggles somewhere, right here. These tiny goggles here. Now they're not super big, but this guy has altitude hold, which is kind of a unique way to learn how to fly. I know you got to learn your throttle management, but I give this to my son. He's 9. He loves to fly it, and he can pretty much take it through gates and all that stuff right off the bat. So eventually we're going to wean him off of this and onto a bigger machine, but you know, not a bad deal. An all-in-one package for about 100 bucks from Maker Fire. They have a few different ones. You can check out my channel. I got some videos of those as well. What about remotes, right? I think actually the remote is probably the most important thing. You start with that. And really there are two. I've got a really detailed review on remotes. You want one of these two remotes. This is the Jumper T8 SG Plus, or this is the Taranis QX7, right? This is what I typically fly all my stuff on. And I can do that because I have a module in the back. Now, it's about $130 for this remote. Sometimes you get it on sale. The module on the back is 35 to 40 bucks. But without the module, I can only fly free sky drones, right? Which is, let's be honest, that's kind of the majority of the FPV drones out there. So really not a big deal if you just pick one of these up and you don't have a module. Now, if you want something like the E011 or E010, you want to fly Frisky, you want to fly Spectrum, some of those tiny whoops only fly Spectrum. The Jumper does it all. Now, these are Hall sensor gimbals, but they're just kind of, they're not quite as precise as the sticks here on the Taranis. So I really like the Taranis, but the Jumper is a more affordable and smaller, right? There's something to be said for the portability of this smaller remote. So keep that in mind when you're flying. What about goggles? All right, so as you can see, I've got a bunch of different goggles here, and I want to kind of talk about them in different kind of price ranges. Now, the absolute cheapest thing you can get is something like this. This is an OTG receiver, and what this does is this will turn your smartphone into FPV goggles. You got Google Glass or Google Cardboard or something like that. One of those virtual reality setups. You stick this thing on the side, right? You plug it into your phone, and boom, your phone is a monitor with an app. Works really well with Android. It's kind of sketchy with iPhone. Now there is an iPhone version out there. I have not tested it, but this thing for about 20 or 30 bucks, definitely the cheapest option, and the quality is pretty darn good. So the screen is your phone's screen, and your phone is pretty much going to have a higher resolution than anything else out there. So the other bonus is it does have a DVR. Now, I highly, highly recommend whatever goggles you pick up, the one thing you want to look for is a DVR. Actually, two things. You want a DVR and you want diversity. Diversity meaning multiple antennas. It's just going to give you a little bit better signal and strength, right? So that's probably your cheapest option. Option number two, these eSheen VR-D3s. Now these are pretty solid. I've done a full review on them here. Telescoping, they're compact, they're not super heavy. They do have a DVR, and they're about 60 bucks, but they're pretty darn cheap in terms of what you can get. Now the screen is nice, they're pretty comfortable, and fairly light. But like I said, this is probably the next step in terms of box goggles. This is what I'm currently recommending. We have kind of the in the middle, right under $300, these eSheen goggles. Now actually these are probably, I'm not sure if they're my favorite, if I like these more than the Fat Sharks or not, and I'll explain that in a second here. But these eSheen EV200s or 200Ds, something like that. Either way, I'll put a link down below. You can check that out. But these have a lot going for them. One, there are two diversity modules here, right? So I've got two antennas, four antennas. That's pretty good. The reception on these is much better. I shouldn't say much better. It's a little bit better than the Fat Sharks I'm going to tell you about in a second, which only have dual diversity. And these modules are interchangeable with some Fat Sharks. You can pop them out and pop new ones in. It does have a DVR and it does have a fan. Now the field of view is about 42 degrees, so it's a little bit wider, and these are a little bit heavier than my Fat Sharks, so that's something to keep in mind. But that fan is key. So when I'm flying with my Fat Sharks, it does tend to fog up, so that is an important thing. Now I can also move the interpupillary distance with these switches on the bottom. So these eSheen goggles really pretty darn good for 300 bucks. So something to keep in mind. That's a lot more than these $60 VRD3s. Now let's talk Fat Sharks. Now I have an old set of Fat Sharks, and I probably should invest in some HDOs. I've upgraded the antennas, and I have a True D diversity receiver here. It does a really nice job. Now, what I don't like, no fan, right? So these are older, newer models will pretty much always have a fan, but Fat Sharks are not cheap. You're going to spend upwards of $300. They look cool. They do a nice job. Actually, the picture, the resolution is better on these than the eSheens that I fly on, so I kind of have to decide, do I want the crisper picture with a slightly worse range, or do I want these here, plus they're a little bit lighter. If I'm flying on days like today where it's cold, then I can get away with no fan on these. So, you know, goggles, really the thing about goggles is you want to try them on if you can before you buy them, because it kind of depends on what feels comfortable on your face. If you're going to be flying for a while, you want something that's not going to bother you. So Fat Sharks generally are pretty comfortable. These have these rubber seals over each eye, so it's not kind of this one mask piece going on. So they are very comfortable. I haven't flown Amways. They're somewhere in between Fat Sharks and those eSheens from what I've heard. But another thing you might want to check out. Now, I do have a pair of of DJI goggles. eSheen, goodness. But you can see these things are massive, right? So when I put these on, they kind of rest on my head. And this is actually kind of nice. And then I can flip them down. These are the Race Edition goggles, which does mean that they'll work with all of these race drones I have behind me. The thing that these are nice also is that they will also work with my Mavic 2 Zoom, my Mavic 2 Pro, my Phantom, and my DJI drones if I want to. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, when I have this down, I'm not going to get glare on my screen, so that's definitely a bonus. But really flying drones like that, you're going to need a spotter, if you're going to wear goggles like this. So, plus, these things are expensive. They're not cheap. So keep that in mind. Unless you're flying DJI products with these, probably not something you're going to want to bust out at a race. I've actually never seen someone bust one of these sets out when they're FPV flying. Maybe I'll do that in my next drone race with the students. So we've got some FPV flying with Go Drone X coming up in the next couple of weeks, where we've got students flying FPV. It's a great organization. So check out Go Drone X. They do gates, they do drones. I help sponsor a drone club at the local high school here. We're going to take our first kids to compete in 2 weeks, so they're excited about that. We're going to be flying some of these drones that I was talking about earlier on some of these goggles with these exact remotes. So, hey, thanks for watching. Hopefully I gave you some information. If you want to know more, hit me up in the comments below. I'd love to answer your questions. Happy flying. Hope you're staying warm like I am.